All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do something a little different. Rather than just being on the water all the time and filming, actually out there fishing, I wanted to start something, maybe do like a Tackle Tuesday where we go over different tackle, different techniques, setups, rigs, as far as how I'm fishing. I also want to look at how other guys are fishing too. There's a lot of other techniques that I want to get into and experiment with that, we'll probably go over on here as well too. So I wanted to first start with kind of my summertime go-to setup for pulling crankbaits. Pulling crankbaits is the way that I fish predominantly in the summer. I will go out and cast to them, but I love to get in the boat and just run and pull crankbaits. So my setup is pretty simple. I have started changing it up just a little bit and incorporating a double rig whenever I do it as well too. So we'll go over that. But let's start with just my simple, off the bat setup and what I'm rolling with. I'm going with typically a 15-pound braided line as my main line. I will run 30. I prefer braid though. I have run monofilament. I predominantly fish Lake of the Ozarks. Lake of the Ozarks is a lake that does not have a lot of standing timber. It does have brush piles. I mean, man-made brush piles, people putting brush out around docks. You will see some brush. Unless you're running very shallow, which I don't when I'm pulling crankbaits. I'm typically in 30 to 40 foot of water, so I don't have to worry about getting into any of those brush piles. So I like the braid, gets me a little bit deeper. It's a heavier braid. So if I do get hung up, more than likely I'm not breaking it off. I'm gonna have to circle back around, try to pop and get it off. Sometimes I've completely just, I've been hung up good, I've just spooled it and let the line go. You lose a crankbait, but you don't lose a rod or a reel. So if I fished a lake, say like Truman, that had a lot of standing timber, I would probably go with a mono as my main line. That way if I did get caught in a tree or something, it would, I could break it. But that's how I do it on Lake of the Ozarks. What I do is, like I said, 15-pound braided main line, and I run a size 7 barrel swivel with the fast lock hook on it. And I do that just to be able to change crankbaits super fast. So, I mean, say, you got, 4 or 6 colors out there, you start catching them predominantly on one, you can just easily, clip it, swap it out, roll to the next one. I run Bandit 300s for the most part, 200s, and I also run my crankbaits that I custom paint as well too. So, shameless plug. I'll leave the link for my website in the description down below. If you guys are interested, check them out and I'll get some sent out to you. They run almost identical to what a Bandit 300 runs. So I don't make any changes as opposed to running these versus Bandits. I'll run them side by side and I figure that they're running predominantly exactly the same. So one thing I do use the Precision Trolling app. So this app, what it does is you're actually able to go in and you're able to select the actual crankbait that you're running, and you can figure. Let's just say here I've got it on Bandit 300s. The preset kind of default setting they have on here is for 10-pound Berkeley Fireline. So let's say I want to run at 100 foot behind the boat. I just simply go to 100 foot behind the boat, and it's going to tell me they're going to run 18 foot deep. So if I'm looking, what I do is if I look and I see fish, if I want to run my crankbaits at 22 foot deep, I know I need to be 200 foot behind the boat, which is crazy. I do run them far back. I run about 150 foot back. Typically is how I run my crankbaits, where I start out, I should say. And at 150 foot back, I'm 20 foot deep. So that kind of gives you an idea, just a way that you can gauge how you're judging your depth and what your crankbaits are running at. So that's my setup. As far as the just out of the box, get in the boat, single crankbait, running 15-pound braid or 30 with the number 7 barrel swivel with the snap lock on it. The other thing that I have been doing more of late is I've been running a double rig, a double setup basically. And what I do with that is same mainline setup. So I'm running the 15-pound braid to the barrel swivel. And then from there I run a 5-foot leader, and I use mono for that. I use a 10-pound mono on a 5-foot leader. And then we'll go over how I tie these up. And I'm able to run my crankbait. So I run a crankbait at the bottom, and then 3 foot up from that, I've come off with a loop knot. You can see it right there. And what I typically run with that is, and I will play around with it, but I'll start out usually with a fin spin. So I'll run a fin spin at that top level, at that top on that top rig. It just gives a different presentation at a different depth, but you're still running with your crankbait deep. So you're basically, let's see if I can kind of hold this up. So we're running like this. So you've got your crankbait deep, 3 foot up from that, then you've got your fin spin. What do I put on the fin spin? And that's just what I start with, and I'll change it up. I'll use a fin spin. I'll use the Fin Spin Pro, which has a skirt on it. So here's the Fin Spin Pro series. It's just a fin spin with a skirt on it. So I'll use that. I'll put out if that's not working, or to just kind of change things up, I also have some Rockport rattlers. You probably can't hear it, but it's got a little rattle in the jig head. Just something different. Maybe they want that rattle. And I'll start out with the Crappie Magnet Slab Curly. So that's what I'm starting with. And I'll do multiple colors of these, just like I do for my crankbaits, and kind of narrow it down. So we're rigging it up. Where's it? To where this is what we're looking at right here. So I'm running through the water with two different presentations at 2 different depths. So right there. Don't know how well you can see it, but I think you get the gist of it. So, and then just adjust from there. Like I said, if that's not working, I might throw out a Charlie Brewer slider. I might just do a Crappie magnet, just the jig head, as opposed to just a round jig head, but do Crappie magnets, jig head, just to give it something a little bit different of a presentation. So that's my setup. Now, let me show you how I tie my leaders. Like I said, it's a 5-foot leader, and I come down 2 foot to that first loop, come off about 6 inches, and then down another 3 foot, and that's where I'm running my the crankbait at deep. All right, so to tie the leader, what I start with is a barrel swivel. And what that barrel swivel allows me to do is, it allows me to simply hook onto my barrel swivel on my main line with my snap lock. So that allows me to change out as I need my leaders. And what I do is I pre-tie leaders. So I use these, they're by Tackle Buddy, and they're snell holders. So So you can pre-tie all your leaders and just stick them on here and they're ready to go. That way you don't have to tie up in the boat. They don't take long to tie at all, but it's just one less thing to worry about. You can just go out there and fish. I sit at home and just tie up a bunch of them. So when I start to get low, then, you know, just tie up some more. So, but I'm going to see, I tried to tie it up with some of that string. It just wasn't working. The string wasn't sliding. I wasn't able to get my knots tight. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but basically what I do is my first knot that I tie on my barrel swivel with my leader line is going to be a Palomar knot. I predominantly only use Palomar knots, and I use a loop knot also for this particular application. You'll see where I use a loop knot. But this first knot on the barrel swivel is going to be a Palomar. And if you don't know how to tie a Palomar knot, you're going to go through the eyelet, and then you're going to go back through, and you're going to leave that loop on the side. And I use my mouth a lot when I tie knots. It's a third hand. It just makes it easier for me. So, all right. So there you have your main line through the eyelet. You make a loop. I hold the loop with my left hand with my ring finger, and then bring it back through. So I've got my tag in and my main line in my right hand with that loop in my left. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to let the hook, which is in this case the barrel swivel, I'm going to let that hang, and I'm going to make a loop. And I'm going to hold that loop then with my right hand. So this loop here that I've created, we're going to come back to me and then through this loop, just like this, to where we're back through, okay? And then you want to take and open up that loop like this, and you want to bring the barrel swivel, or your hook if you're just using a hook, through that, okay? And then you're going to want to cinch it tight. Wet your knot, cinch it tight. Just like that. Cut your tagging off. I don't cut my tagging real close to the knot. I don't think the fish are going to see it. If the fish don't see the main line, why are they going to see that tag in? So that's my argument. I know some guys say, oh, you got to cut that tagging off tight. They're going to see that tag in. Well, they don't worry about this main line. It's the same exact line. So that's just my 2 cents. So now what I'm going to do is I need a 5-foot leader, and I've got more line than 5 foot. So what I do is I come out, my wingspan is about 5 foot. So I take my wingspan and I'm 5 foot, and then I just give myself just a little bit more. And I'll cut it off. Let me get rid of this extra line here. Okay. All right. So now we're going to move. I need 2 of the numbers, or this size 7 barrel swivels with the fast locks on them, the snaps. That first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on. I'm going to let it slide all the way down. I'm just going to put it on the line like this. And I'm just going to let it slide, just let it loose and let it go all the way down to that barrel swivel. Now the next one I'm going to put on, but I'm going to hold it in my hand, okay? Now I go, like I said, I know that my wingspan is 5 foot. So here's my barrel swivel that I have tied on with my Palomar knot, and I'm going to grab that barrel swivel with the snap lock on it, and I'm going to go out 5 foot. And then I'm going to give it, I personally give it another couple inches, okay? Just like that. Grab both your main line and your tag-in line, and you're going to create, you've got that loop through, okay? Now this is where I'm going to tie my first loop knot. You're going to loop, I spread my fingers, and I loop that through just like that, and I make a loop, okay? So I'm like that, and then you're going to take, and you're going to go through that loop 3 times. Just real simple. 1, 2, 3. That's all there is to it. Now, this loop knot, I want close within, I don't know, say, not even an inch. you know, a ½ inch, a quarter inch within from my my snap lock. So I actually am pinching the knot right at my snap lock, and I'm going to pull, I'm going to cinch that tight. And once it gets pretty close to my fingers, then I'm going to pull it loose and I'm going to cinch it down, okay? So you can see here now that I've got a loop knot, got this snap lock on the barrel swivel on a loop knot. There's my knot, there's my loop, and it hangs. Again, I'm going to cut off that tag end, okay? All right, now we move to, now remember, we're 5 foot, so right there, I'm a little over 5 foot, and you're going to see why I go a little bit over 5 foot. So we've got our top snap here. I know on my body, when I sit just normal and I spread my legs, from knee to knee is 2 foot. So I want to be down from this barrel swivel, I want to be down 2 foot to where my loop is. So I just, right there, there's my 2 foot, okay? And I've got my snap pinched on the line, and I'll pull that tight, and now I know I'm exactly 2 foot down. And I'm going to repeat the same process that I did to tie my lower loop knot. I'm going to make a loop, and then between my fingers I'm going to come through 3 times, 2, 3. This time, instead of pinching it at the swivel, I'm going to pinch it where my left hand is up here, because what I want to do is I want to create a 6-inch loop, essentially, is what I'm creating, okay? So I've got that there, and I'm going to pull then my barrel swivel with my snap. I'm going to pull that, okay? And once I get it to about 6 inches or so, which is, you know, roughly about right there, then I'm going to let go, and I'm going to cinch that down tight, okay? Now there's nothing to cut here. Now our rig is completely set up, okay? So let me show you. So here, barrel swivel, that will attach to our main line. So here's our main line snap. We'll attach it there. Okay. Put that in. Okay. So we're locked in there. And then 2 foot down from there, we have about a 6-inch loop. And then another 3 foot down from there, there's our lower crankbait. So run that crankbait on the bottom, because that's what's going to give you your depth. So this would not, this technique, and we'll go over this in a later video, this would be the exact same rig that I'm going to run if I'm long lining. Exactly the same. The only difference is I'm going to change my speed, and I'm going to change the jig head size to adjust for the depth. That'll be a later video where we'll cover all of that. But in the meantime, this is my double rig that I have been running lately, and frankly, I'm probably going to run it most of the time now. There's no reason why not to. You know, you're running 6. You know, say you run 6 lines. I run 4 rods a lot, so I've doubled. You know, instead of having 4 rods, 4 hooks in the water, now I've got 8, and I've got 2 different presentations. So that there, like I said, that's a setup that I'm running a lot more. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoy this content. I hope you find it, you know, informative and helpful. Leave me a comment down below if you want to see more of this. I want to dig in, and I want to try different techniques. I don't want to be, you know, and I haven't mastered any technique. Let me just say that. Crankbait fishing, the last couple of years it's grown on me. It's one of those things that I enjoy doing. I am by no means an expert at it. I watch several guys on YouTube just to pick up other techniques, other ideas, how guys are doing it, what they're doing different from me. I've struggled at times. I mean, if you've watched any of my recent videos or seen me comment or talk to me, the last month or so on Lake of the Ozarks for me has been absolutely brutal. But it's going to turn. You know, you know, I see guys talking about fish population like the Ozarks, and I'm not going to get into the whole Livescope debate. I don't think it's a fish population issue. I really don't. I don't think Livescope has affected the fish population to that extent. Again, I know that's going to ruffle some feathers. It's a hot debate, but I don't think that fish population is the reason why I've struggled the last, you know, since Memorial Day. Before Memorial Day, you know, Memorial Day, the spawn was decent. Post spawn was great for me pulling crankbaits. I just think that I haven't been on them. I mean, fish are going to move. You know, you've got to find fish, and I probably haven't taken the time to locate the fish before I actually fish. I don't live at the Lake of the Ozarks. I live outside of St. Louis. It takes me 2 hours to get from my door to the boat and to be on the water. So it's not like I can come home from work and go out and fish every evening. I wish I could. You know, that may be something down the road that I'm able to do if the wife allows it. But I don't live by my body of water. So when I'm out there, it's hard for me to go out and spend an hour, 2 hours looking for fish, especially if I just drive down to fish for the day. You know, just keep grinding. You know, I know, like I said, I know a lot of other guys have struggled at Lake of the Ozarks. But let me know where you're fishing at. Let me know what techniques you're using as far as line size, what reels you're using. I'm gonna be, I've got some big news coming in the next week or so, where with some rods, I'll go over my rod setup that I've got. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Talk about, you know, what length rods I'm running, what rod manufacturer I'm running, my reels that I'm running, all of that stuff. But leave me a comment down below. Let me know what setups you guys are running. So I appreciate you guys. The channel is doing great. I've said it before, never expected to have, honestly, never expected to have 10 people even subscribe to this channel and watch me and listen to me talk about fishing and go out and fish. So I enjoy doing it, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't done it already, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Leave me a comment. It helps the channel out, and it just lets me, it gives me more opportunities to get out on the water and to do what we all enjoy doing. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care and God bless.